continuing my playlist on lying and how to pick up on, lies people are telling. It's the whole point of the playlist, right? So let's talk about eye movement. Eye movement is a big thing, and there's several things to look for. There's the direction that their eyes are looking, so right and left. There's the speed at which they're looking. And there's also eye contact, right? What is the correct amount of eye contact for truth versus lies? So first, the direction of the eyes, whether they're looking to the right or to the left, or if they're darting back and forth, what does that mean, right? They're looking. So when you're thinking, when you're talking, you have two sides, the right and the left, okay? Now the right is for recollection. So when you're thinking, whenever you're recalling something from the past, your eyes do this, right? So what were you doing Tuesday night? I was at home with the kids, all evening, and I put them to bed. So what were you doing Tuesday night? I was at home with the kids, all evening, and I put them to bed. The left side is the constructive side, where you're hypothesizing, you're constructing a hypothetical scenario or situation, right? This is the what would it be like if kind of section, right? Well, where were you Tuesday night? I told you I was at the library. Really? Because you're out till 2:30 in the morning and you smelled like cigarette smoke. Well, you see, when I was at the library, there was this guy who I hadn't seen in a long time, and we hit it off. We went to go catch up, and he wanted to go just hang out, so we went outside to go smoke, and then we bumped into this other dude. Right? So their eyes are gonna be going to the left. Now, the easy way to remember both what each side means. The right side, the our side, and their right, right? So when you're looking at them, it's to your left. But their right side, their our side is the right side, right? As in correct, or the remembering side, right? So it's the right side, it's the remembering side, it's the right side. The left side is the liar side. They're lying. I mean, even if you ask somebody to hypothetically tell you something or to imagine a situation, they're going to have to be constructing all the different possibilities. You say, explain how this could work. Well, one way it could work is to the left, right? But if you're looking for lies, then you understand that the left side is the side where all the lies are going to come from. And the last point I'm going to make on this is anytime you have any conversation with anybody ever, their eyes are going to be going to both sides. I mean, nobody ever just looks to the right and stays to the right. That's weird, right? Whenever they're coming up with an answer, when you're like, you need to explain yourself.
Shit.
Like whenever you prompt them, and it's usually at the very beginning of a prompt where people are thinking what they're going to say and they start to formulate their response. They're going to look down, they're going to or up. They're going to look up or down and engage their brain. So as they're inhaling, you're going to see their eyes go one way or the other. Now, I want to talk about the duration of eye contact, right? When people are lying and they're trying to sell you the lie, if they feel guilt or shame, you remember earlier how I said that they're going to look down, right? Looking down to the left. If they don't keep much eye contact with you, like if it just seems like they're just not looking you in the eyes, and then that means that there's some guilt or shame associated with whatever it is they're talking about. Okay? Now, it's entirely possible to be telling the truth about something you feel guilty about, so don't confuse the two. If they're not holding eye contact, that's usually just a sign of shame and guilt, especially if they're looking down. The opposite side of the spectrum is whenever they're just staring you down. Yeah, man. Yeah. That's also unnatural, and that's when they're being more aggressive, more offensive, applying outward pressure, like back off, man. You know, they get more intense. So holding too much eye contact is a sign of forcing some intensity, setting up a wall, setting up a barrier, and trying to push out against somebody. I think there was something else in the video that I mentioned in the beginning. We'll see. So lastly, I want to talk about the speed at which their eyes are moving. It can mean one of two things. And you have to keep this in mind. If you're asking somebody to recall the past and explain how something could be possible, what you'll see is they go back, they retrieve the memory, so they go to the right, and then they go to the left to start constructing possible explanations for what could have happened. You know, this will happen a lot if you're at work, and it's like you're on shift like 2 days, like, you know, you're on shift yesterday, and let's say you're a cashier, and your drawer ends up short like $100 and something, and the boss is like, how can this happen? Did you steal the money? And you're like, no, I didn't steal the money, not at all. That would be really stupid. I actually want my job. Why the hell would I steal $100 and come back to work, right? I wouldn't do that. Well, how do you think it happened? Well, you're going to start going back and thinking about different cash transactions and whether or not you gave somebody change or what was going on at that time. So you're going to be recalling, constructing. When you ask somebody to explain a possibility of how something in the past happened, you're going to see that. If you're asking something very simple, like where were you last night? Well, you see what happened if it's an easy question to answer and you see that kind of behavior, what they're doing is they're weaving in actual events into a constructed story. Now, in that situation, one could see that as being deceptive. But again, it really just depends on the nature of your question. You know? You can't just automatically assume that if their eyes are going to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, that they're being dishonest. Sometimes your questions can actually require this type of response construction, we'll call it. Now, if their eyes are moving really fast back and forth for, just what seems completely unnatural, what that is that's anxiety. That's their limbic system preparing for the flight response. They're looking for a way out. They're looking for the door. And you're going to see more than just eye movement, right? They're going to be shifty. They're going to be nervous. That's the limbic system preparing for flight, right? Get me the fuck out of here. I'm uncomfortable. The eyes are going to start moving around, looking for exits. They get all this nervous energy, like they're wanting to leave. It can be them shaking their foot, but some people are just foot shakers. You have to have a good working baseline. But overall, you have to ask yourself, does it look like this person wants to get the hell out of here? The answer is yes. They probably want to get the hell out of there because they're not comfortable. And it's up to you to gauge and determine whether or not their discomfort is because they're telling a lie or if they're telling an uncomfortable truth. So all of these factors sort of weigh in on your analysis. There's not a hard and fast rule or a specific protocol. It's just something you develop with practice. And this is one of the places where having a narcissist that you deal with is actually quite beneficial. So I've talked about other narc behaviors that are actually to your benefit. The compulsive lying is one of those, especially if you already know the truth. Say you have a friend that says, hey, I saw Narky Pants the other day at a coffee shop. I saw them there, they said hello, etc. You could say something like, yeah, the other day I was Well, I don't know how you'd segue into it. Get them to lie. You know they're gonna lie. You already know the answer. Fuck, man, I can't construct everything for everybody all the time. That's it on eye speed. Just understand that sometimes it's a valid behavior if you've asked them to explain something from the past, especially if they don't know how it happened. They're gonna have to be thinking of possibilities. So, thanks again. I'll see you on the next video.